Our first quest this time around is to engage in a giant ice Burnak call. Yay. I'm personally in no rush to commit wolf, dolphin, cat genocide at the moment, and that's because, with the turn of Chapter 2, the Matoran fortress that was barricaded in the previous chapter is now enterable, leading to a desert passage to the east of the fortress's end. I dub this Area 3, and you know what a new area means. Dig spoilers. If you don't want dig locations to be spoiled, skip to this part of the video to make the game more challenging for yourself. 3, 2, 1. I'm usually tempted to go to the right side, which is where the area really expands, but first I need to pick up something by the coast. Yep, medium defense armor of ice, and to the east are medium defense greaves of ice. The hilarious thing is that the main quest gives you light defense armor and greaves, which are rendered useless if you dug these up first. Nothing over here just yet. Cave seems to be blocked. Anyway, to the east. Rather irritatingly, Area 3 has 2 quest dig spots, and this is one of them. Won't be using that puppy until Chapter 6. Up here is an earth launcher as a substitute for the water one from before. And down here are a pair of medium defense air greaves. Yep, the dig spots are kind of all over the place, and it's a little hard to optimize an ideal route. This ice launcher would be useful, but up ahead is something even better. Oh, there's the ice Burnak colony. Hello, just passing through. Here are the medium defense ice greaves I mentioned. And lastly is the real show stealer, an enhanced ice Zamor launcher. Sadly, my stupid poo-poo brain actually forgot one last diggable item here when I was recording, and that was the water slash further down. The screen it shows up in is actually part of a quest in Chapter 3, so I'll just have to pick it up next episode. Here are all the diggable items and their respective cheat coordinate number, including the water slash that I so horribly missed. Oh no. Area 3 is comparatively small, and therefore so are the amount of dig spots. However, it does give a good taste of the Voya Nui desert after all that time waddling in the jungle in Chapter 1. Now for enemy drop spoilers, here's the skipping timestamp, 3, 2, 1. Just as the water Rahi hang by the inner coastline, ice Rahi hang by the outer coastline, and earth Rahi hang by the jungle in between, the air and stone Rahi seem to be mostly found in desert regions, and this is appropriately their first appearance. Technically, we already covered the air Gopna in Area 2, but only one exists in that region. Here, it's much more relevant. While the air Burnak gives the most experience, the go-to farming enemy overall is actually the stone Burnak. That may look like a stone spear it's carrying, but it's actually a harpoon. On top of that, it drops a teleportation pack and a great Kanohi of stone, the strongest of its kind. Both extremely useful. The other enemies still drop decent stuff, of course. That object the Stone Gopna is carrying is a vision pack, which increases range. There aren't many stone Burnak in the area, so I don't expect to get all 3 items at once, but in later areas there will be way more, and then I can finish my collection. Normally once an item is dropped from an enemy, it will never drop that item again, though in incredibly rare cases a group of the same enemy will drop the same item twice in one battle. But one funny glitch with the air Burnak is that there is no limit to how many medium defense air armors can be dropped. So if you rack up several of them throughout the course of the game, don't be too surprised. Maxing out technique until it gets to 10. I'll use the time farming to once again talk about some of the new weapons available to us. I mentioned the enhanced Zamro launchers a bit before, and they are indeed just high damage versions of the original. However, you do have to be at least 3 spaces away from the target for it to work, and ammunition is still limited, which helps balance the weapon significantly. It's a little busted even with the ammo nerf. The Vision Pack is the opposite of the similarly named Range Pack. It buffs your range instead of debuffing your opponent's range. Certainly a bit more useful than the Range Pack, as there will be opponents in the future, like Ussals, that won't be ranged to begin with. The Teleportation Pack does exactly what it sounds like. Select a cell in a certain radius and travel there. You can technically softlock yourself on certain mini-islands this way when in combat, which means it's a good thing the move cheat exists. And lastly is the Harpoon, which I will hopefully be able to grab and demonstrate. The Harpoon is sort of an alternative evolution of the spear and based directly off VNOG's weapon. Unlike the launcher, it still cannot be used point blank, but unlike the spear, it pulls enemies instead of pushing them. What would make such a limited weapon remotely useful? Its damage output. Combined with the launcher, the Harpoon can absolutely destroy enemies. Finally! Now I'll be able to demonstrate it in action. I am a very smart person. We're basically out of stone Burnak already, so now is a good chance to head back, with the exception of that one screen that has the water slash, which has 3 more of them. Like I said, I am very smart. Not stupid at all. We still got the Harpoon though, that'll be useful. In the first chapter, I didn't really engage in combat with the Ussals, and therefore didn't examine their AI in full. You can consider Ussals to be the 3rd primary enemy type next to melee Gopna and short-ranged Burnak. Ussal types have high movement points and use their pincers to lower the movement points of their opponents. Rock Ussals and Ussal crabs in particular are annoyingly tanky. They're incredibly irritating to deal with, even just one-on-one, but most Ussal types have one major weakness. Their movement points may be strong, but their AP efficiency is weak in comparison. 2 hits of natural attack are enough to prevent them from hitting back. Even with Burnak, you need to deplete at least 3 AP to subdue a target, which requires lucking out on critical hits, but with Ussals, removing 2, in other words hitting natural attack twice, is enough for a guaranteed stun. Likewise, if you can single one out, then the worst it can do is run away from you and call for its friends. Thankfully, at this point in the game, if you're lucky, you'll have that Harpoon from the Stone Burnak. If the Ussal weren't beefy enough, they'll raise their defenses when low on health. Ugh. Now that we're geared up, we might as well clear the Ice Burnak from the area. Tedium with a side of fries. Wait, that tree appeared on a transition. Where'd it come from? What does it want? Does it have something to hide? In fact, it does. Setting the sprites in transparent, it is blocking a way up. Furthermore, as found on TCRF, the top right erroneously holds the NPC behind it all. Oh no, it's the Praka shown in the intro. Who would have guessed? Yep, a stupid tree is guarding his stupid base. We'll get there eventually. In the meantime, on with the Burnak call. kind of a strange way to say out of ammo. Sorry buddy, I can't charge you anymore. One interesting thing I like about the terrain is that you can shoot over the shorter trees. Nice touch. Last set, finally. Well, now that we got all that crap out of the way, time for the interesting stuff. With the Burnak cleared out, Garen lets us finally explore the Matoran fortress and talk to Balta. One oddity about this quest is that you are required to reach the south portion of the fortress before it'll let you talk to Balta. That's counterintuitive, the entrance is on the other side. As a welcome gift, he hands us a fire claw. Yippee. Balta's primary job is weaponsmithing, and he can craft us a weapon using the shards we picked up from enemies. Not exactly useful in this chapter, but as the chapters progress, he'll have more and more stuff available. Garen, I talked to Balta and all he gave me was this piece of shit. What do I do? He then gives us the option to hand over that improvement kit that we dug up on the tip of the island in Chapter 0. If we didn't dig it up before this point, tough luck, you'll have to go all the way back. Of course, skipping the quest doesn't leave you out on too much. You just get a fire slash modeled after that claw. Yeah, I think I'm good. Now we talk to Inika, an old riddle-speaking guy who turns out to be a great being in disguise. Oh, he will give us weaker versions of that defense ice armor, but also locating equipment so he can find Thok's hideout. Of course, if you're overly familiar with the game, both favors are technically completely useless, but we need to progress the story for the tree to vanish, so back to the fortress. If you talk to a Matoran that isn't part of the current quest or doesn't craft things like Balta or Velika, they will instead say, "I'm too busy, little Toa, come back later." I guess when you live in a wasteland like Voya Nui, manners aren't exactly a top priority, but still. Now we go on a quest similar to the mask one in Chapter 0. I am only just realizing that we needed ice metal pieces to make a water mask, and now we're farming water metal pieces to make ice equipment. Oh, what? Hopefully this shouldn't take as long as the Burnak quest. Jesus, that was a tall order. Oh yeah, I forgot water Burnak occasionally drop metal pieces normally, so we already have a mini head start. That's all the Gopna down. This is ideally what Character's Transparent is useful for, giant foreground effects like this. The downside is that sometimes it pulls this nonsense on us. There we go. One more Burnak. Haha! Now we check the other room for the rest of the armor. Thankfully, you're only required to go into the room, not collect anything. But I will anyway. Yeah, I think I was set before coming here. I do like a few of these metaphors. A Brachus is the equivalent to a monkey, for those unaware. Now we get the supplies for his locating stone thingy. Not too big of a hassle this time, thank goodness. We already dug up the energy stone, so now we just need to backtrack to the village. Of course it spots me again. But I have a harpoon, and air enemies are weak to stone. Have key, will travel. We start to see a recurring pattern of reporting back to Garen after doing literally anything. He is the leader of this group after all. Oh boy. The Ussal Crab quest is quite a load of crap if you decided not to look for any mid-level gear from Area 2 or 3. And if you didn't pick off the 2 crabs that were already there, it's all the more extreme of a roadblock. Your best bet in that scenario is to clear off 1 or 2 per battle and then suicide if more join. Just see for yourself. I mean, the challenge is interesting, but considering the puny gear given to fight them, what the hell? Well, here we go again. Shit. least we get to see a demonstration of that last resort armor buff. Close one. Let's spice it up a little. 2-on-1. Thank God that's over. We can finally fight Thok now. I suppose an in-story explanation for why you can enter it now, aside from the locating stone, is that Thok sent some of his forces over to the Matoran village or something. But whatever the case, that stupid evil tree is gone, so let's go. There he is. But first, a moment of Bionicle bonus lore. Thok's two powers include Spellbinder Vision, which makes the target dizzy and unbalanced, and the ability to animate and control unmoving objects like rocks and plant life. This is why there are a bunch of dumb Voya Nui pine tree equivalents. Also, as I already mentioned with Skagti Biology, by himself his power over ice is really only exclusive to his freeze gun. This has been your moment of Bionicle bonus lore. I kinda want to challenge myself and use the gear that was given to me in this chapter. It'll be funny to see how that plays out. Your ass is mine, Thok. No more tree-moving shenanigans for you. While they didn't work the Spellbinder vision thing into the game, bringing the plants to life is very much a mechanic in this fight, so it's probably a good idea for me to take a few of them out before they jump at me. No, no! The tree is moving! I'm not the only one who finds that walk cycle a little comical, right? Ow. I guess like Great Ike also has a killer melee. I think I underestimated Thok a little. If the tree reaches you, it will fall and kamikaze itself. This is gonna be a tight damage race. Close one. But I still have to chop down that one tree, so I'll victory heal first. Thok's drops aren't exactly the most rewarding thing out there, but the AP debuff thing is interesting, I suppose. Now to put some actual gear back on. Ah, much better. Discuss with Balta, not Garen? Okay, can't complain. That's a thing. And the drill equipment isn't even a solid object. That I guess that just has testing somehow. I thought I defeated you. Get the fuck off my screen. So that was chapter 2. It's one of the duller chapters to me, but at least you get to meet a few of the members of the Resistance for once. Chapter 3, on the other hand, is something I'm actually looking forward to. Until next time!